example 5 is the last problem in this note packet, okay? Um, what we're gonna do here is I have two word problems written down, and we are going to translate this into a system of equations, okay? We are not gonna solve, but we're gonna do more practice with translating it into a system of equations. And remember, you have to define your variables very specifically before you write those equations down, okay? You can expect to have a problem like this on your exam when it comes to exam time. I always have you just take, if it's a word problem, I have you set it up, but I don't have you solve it, because if you set it up incorrectly, then obviously you're not going to get the right answer. Okay, so be able to set something like this up for the test. Okay, all right, so example 5 says formulate the given situation as a system of linear equations. Be sure to clearly state the meaning of each variable. Do not solve. All right, so let's read example A, okay? A hotel has 150 rooms. Those with kitchen facilities rent for $100 per night, and those without kitchen facilities rent for $80 per night. On a night when the hotel was completely occupied, revenues were $13,000. How many of each type of room does the hotel have? All right, first thing we have to do is define our variables, okay? So we've got to figure out what are we looking for. So again, concentrate on the last part of the problem here, okay? Look, how many of each type of room does the hotel have, okay? So the hotel has rooms with kitchens and rooms without kitchens, okay? So it has two types of rooms. And we're trying to figure out how many of each type of room does the hotel have, okay? So how many, the answer to the question is going to be how many rooms does the hotel have with kitchens? How many does it have without kitchens? There's only two types of rooms, okay? So you're going to need two variables here. Don't think that we've been doing in this whole section, we've been doing mostly 3 equations and 3 variables. Don't assume that, since we were in this section, you were automatically going to have 3 variables, okay? You really got to pay attention to the question, okay? All right, so let's define our variables. We're going to let x be because remember, we're looking for how many. So the number of rooms with kitchen facilities. And then we're going to use a different variable because remember, they may not have the same number of each room. Okay, so we're going to let y be the number of rooms without kitchen facilities. All right, so your variables are defined very specifically. Okay, now since we have 2 variables, we can expect to be able to write down 2 equations. Okay, so you need to scan through the problem and see what 2 ideas you can pick up. Okay, well, one thing you should see is you see a lot of money involved. Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to highlight everything that I see with money. Okay, so I see the ones with kitchen facilities rent for $100 per night. The ones without kitchen facilities rent for $80 per night. And then on a night when the hotel was completely occupied, the revenues were $13,000. Okay, all that stuff in blue has to do with money. Okay, it has to do with revenues. Okay, remember the word revenue. Okay, means that that's the money you're taking in. Okay, it's not profit. Profit would be the revenue minus the cost, but revenue is the money you're taking in. Okay, so one of our equations is going to have to do with revenue. Okay, let's go ahead and write that one down, and then we'll talk about where the other equation is coming from. I'm going to highlight this in blue so you can see it's coming from the blue information. Okay, all right, so the hotel is charging so much to rent each room. Okay, so the ones with kitchens are slightly more expensive to rent per night. So those are $100 per night. The ones without kitchens are $80 per night. The total revenue taken in on a night where the hotel is completely occupied, meaning all the rooms are rented out, the total revenue is $13,000. Okay, so the revenue is going to have to add up to be $13,000. So that's what's going to be on the right side of the equation. Okay, so then remember what's going to happen. You're going to be adding. Okay, You're going to want to add the revenue from rooms with kitchens, and then you're going to have to add the revenue from rooms without kitchens. Okay, so let's talk about the ones with kitchens. Okay, rooms with kitchen facilities rent for $100 per night. Okay, and the hotel rented out, or the hotel has X many rooms with kitchens. That's how we defined X. X is the number of rooms with kitchens. Okay, so if you're renting out X rooms with kitchens and it costs $100 per night to rent each one of those, that's going to bring in revenue, total revenue of 100 times X. Okay, there's X many rooms with kitchens. Each one costs $100 to rent out. So the hotel will take in 100 times X. Okay, you can do the same thing for the rooms without kitchens. Okay, those go for $80 per night. The way you set up your variables, okay, the hotel has Y many rooms without kitchens. Okay, all right, so they're going for $80 a night times the number of rooms, which is Y. Okay, so the hotel will take in revenue of 80 times Y. Okay, for rooms without kitchens. Okay, so add those two revenues and it's got a total 13,000. So that's your first equation. 100x plus 80y is equal to 13,000. Okay. All right. We need to have a second equation. Okay. Two equations, two variables. Okay. When you look at the problem, I've highlighted most of it. Okay. The only piece of information I haven't really touched is the hotel has 150 rooms. Okay. We can do something with this. Okay. So the other equation is going to come from the total number of rooms. Okay, we know the total number of rooms has to be 150. So 150 is going to be the number on the right. Okay, so remember there's two types of rooms. Okay, those with kitchens. Okay, the rooms without kitchens, so no kitchen. Okay, you got to add the total number of rooms. Okay, well, how many rooms have kitchens? Well, X. Okay, that's the way we set up the variable. X is the number of rooms with kitchen facilities. So X many rooms have kitchens. How many rooms do not have a kitchen? Okay, that's Y based on how we set it up. Y is the number of rooms without kitchens. Okay, and that's the total number of rooms because every room either has a kitchen or it doesn't. Okay, so take the number of rooms with kitchens, that's X many, plus the number of rooms without kitchens, that's Y many. Add those up, it should be 150 rooms. Okay, so that's the second equation. X plus Y is equal to 150. Okay, that came from the purple information. Okay, that's it. We defined our variables and we set up the two equations. Okay.